Champian Fulton, welcome to the Antidote.
Thank you.
I'm so happy to have you on the show. This is a great honor. We're here in the beautiful Georgetown Club, and tonight you're going to be performing with your bass player.
And my horn player, he's coming. He missed sound check, but he's on his way.
Oh, is that what it is?
We'll be a trio. We'll be a trio, yeah.
And your horn player is your father, right?
It's my father, so I can't really be mad that he missed sound check.
Oh, you could, but maybe that wouldn't go so well.
No, it's my father, Stephen Fulton, on flugelhorn, and my bassist's name is Hide Tanaka. And because it's the weekend before Mother's Day, so I brought my mom. She's not a musician, but she's joined the band for the weekend, so she's here enjoying DC.
Oh, fun. Okay, so you're making this a family trip.
A little bit, yeah, because it's just a nice, relaxed trip. Not too far, from New York, so.
Well, let me introduce you for our listeners and our viewers. You are a jazz vocalist and a jazz pianist, and you were born in Oklahoma, but now live in New York, where I don't know how much of your time you spend in New York because you seem to be on the road quite a bit.
Not a lot anymore, yeah.
I've also noticed that in the past, just a little over a decade, you've released 10 albums.
That's right.
And a few of them the same year.
Yes.
Okay.
That's true.
You keep a very busy schedule, and I want to know, where is your passion in all of this, all of the music that you do live on the road and all the music that you release from the studio?
I just, I've wanted to be a jazz musician since I was very young, my whole life. And I love the music, and I love sharing the music with people. And so I love performing and touring and being on the road, meeting new people, seeing new places. That's very important to me. And, tied in with that is the idea of releasing music that people can take home with them or listen to on the radio. And I always wanted to record. And I didn't have a plan, to record 10 albums in, I think, 11 years or 12 years or something. But it just sort of happened. And it's cool. I'm happy with it.
You're happy with it?
Yeah, I love it. And that one year, we released 3 in 2017. I had planned to do a Christmas record. And then a friend of mine in Spain called me and said, we'd like to produce a record with you and Scott Hamilton in the same year. And I said, great, sure. And then another label called and said, well, we would like to do a trio album of all your original music. And I thought, oh, well, we can do that because all 3 of the projects are so different. That they wouldn't compete. But it was a big year.
Yes, it must have been really big because you release and then you have to tour to promote the music, correct?
Yeah. Okay. But the Christmas one, of course, is a short touring possibility.
Right.
December really is this.
But it comes around every year.
Every year.
So you can take it on the road time and time again. So that makes me wonder, are you working on some new music? It seems cruel to ask because you've released so much. I feel like I should give you a break, but I can't help thinking that you've already got some projects in the works, yeah?
We do. Well, I actually recorded a duo album with my friend Corey Weeds from Vancouver in February, and it'll be out September, October, later this year. And I'm hoping to record with my band in September or October for release in 2020. So there'll be one record this year and then another record coming early next year.
Wow.
So I feel behind schedule, to be honest. But something is coming. I promise. It's coming.
What's your appetite to be releasing so much? Is it because the music is just, do you feel you're running out of time? You got to capture it all.
I don't know. No, I don't feel that way, but I feel like each record there's been a different reason. So this last record, which was the 10th record, The Stylings of Champion, I have my bassist who's with me here tonight, Hide, my drummer, also Japanese, Fukushi Tanaka, and they were basically one of my first bands when I moved to New York. So we've been playing together pretty regularly for 15 plus years. And we had sort of, taken a break, and I was working with different people. And last January, we started working together again. And it was so nice, and it felt kind of like this homecoming. And then we had a wonderful month of May with a lot of touring and really nice shows. And I just thought, I want to memorialize it, you know, and that's why I wanted to record. And I think a lot of times that's what I feel. I feel like, oh, this is a special thing that I want to not capture, but, well, I guess record, you know, just make a note of it. Like, oh, this was cool, it happened, you know, here's the proof.
Yeah, no, I completely understand. It's like a moment in time,
Yes.
and you want to capture it because the next moment will be different. Do you feel you've come of age as a musician, and this is it, this is me?
I think it's also, I think I always knew that this is or was me, was me. And always the music I wanted to play and what I wanted to do. But I think it just takes a long time once you're a musician to get where you want to go. You know, there's no shortcuts in terms of the time it takes. And I used to always think, and I still do think that, like, it's around age 50 that all my favorite jazz musicians really come into, like, the best records, the best concerts are from when they're around 50. So I still hope that I have 20 more years to get there. I still hope that, you know, that I'm on that path. But I do think around age 30, you really, you know, you not settle down, but you're an adult, you know. Things are a little different in just a lifetime perspective.
Absolutely. You're also working on projects with all women formations. You've got a sisterhood project.
Right.
I'd love to hear about that.
So that's I don't want to take credit for it. It's Bria Schoenberg's project. It's a great trumpet player, vocalist, songwriter. And Bria approached me about it, I guess, last year. It was our first show. It's called the Sisterhood of Swing. It's a big band, but also a 7-piece band. So we have 2 sort of formations. And I don't know if it's... the personnel has been almost the same every time, so I guess it is becoming a band. But it's a lot of fun. I really like Bria, especially this past Sunday. We played the Gotham Jazz Festival. And it was fun because it was the 7-piece band, so it was a little bit more like stretching out as opposed to in a big band setting where you're really reading the charts. We relaxed a little bit more and just played, and I liked that. And I liked seeing in that setting Bria really like lead the band. It was really fun. I liked it.
Any projects of recording with the sisterhood?
Well, it's been talked about. No plans yet. I hope so. We're doing a Lincoln Center concert this summer. We're doing a concert on the Intrepid, the battleship in the Hudson River. in June. And we have some different projects, and I think they do want to record. But as always, when you have so many sort of soloists and band leaders in the band, it's hard to get everyone's schedule together. Yes. It's like it's a super group, right? Kind of. So like she just sent an email to us last night. Like, we really need to schedule some rehearsals to read through the charts, and I'm like, oh, good luck. Like 18 people trying to, get together in one 4-hour window. I don't know. We'll see.
That seems impossible. Yes.
I wished her good luck. I hope it works.
This summer you're going to be in Europe for a good part of your summer. You're also going to be in Australia.
Yes.
How long have you been traveling around the world?
My first trip to Europe to perform was in 2011. And I worked with the Westdeutschland Radio Big Band, the VDR band in Cologne. I go every year. Last year I made like 6 or 7 trips. It can be a lot back and forth. I really enjoy it. Traveling to Europe. And last year I visited Australia for the first time. So this will be the second time this October.
It's exciting.
I just really like the freedom of playing your music every day, or almost every day, in a new setting with new people in a new location. It's very fresh. Keeps me feeling very fresh.
And I've noticed that you've got a huge fan base in France in particular.
That's true.
Do you also sing in French?
I don't, and people ask me all the time. So I tried to learn a song in French, or maybe I should say I'm trying, but it's very difficult, the pronunciation of the words. Like, even when I think that I've sung it right, Marina, she's my agent, she's like, that's not right.
No good. Okay.
But I did record a song in Spanish, which I felt much easier for me, whether or not it's easier in general, but for me it felt much more natural.
you also have an album without vocals.
Yes.
Why?
So that was it's actually one of my favorite records, and it's odd that it seems to be a lot of my fans' favorite records, which is funny to me because I know they love my singing, but then I feel like that record is very versatile from a listener's point of view because it can fit so many different settings without the voice, and also just the tunes. I think I made a nice feeling over the hour. It's on a label called Positone, and they only release non-singing, non-vocal records.
Okay.
They wanted me to do a trio record with my original compositions, which is something that I have wanted to do just because when I was little, I wanted to be a piano player. And, Red Garland Trio, Wynton Kelly Trio,
Yes.
Sonny Clark Trio.
Yes.
These are my favorite records and, my heroes. And I sort of felt unsure about the commercial possibility for commercial success for that kind of project, with singing being so important, not only artistically to me, but just as brand.
Right. No, of course it's I think people think of you. I think people can think of you as a pianist or as a singer. Wherever they are connecting with your music is totally valid.
Yes.
And many of us see you as an incredible, dual instrumentalist, I guess.
Thank you. No, I was very happy with not only with the way the record, the music and the process, the recording and the songwriting, but then the way it was received. It's kind of funny because every time I release an album, some people are like, oh, there's too many piano, too many long solos, too many instrumental cuts. And then other people say, oh, there's not enough solos, not enough piano instrumental cuts. And I'm like, oh my gosh. So there's a whole record of that. So I can be like, well, you love this record then.
But with 10 albums out there, certainly.
There's plenty of variety for everyone.
Exactly. And plenty more to come.
Yes, exactly. But it is kind of funny doing the two things. You do have people who really love one more than the other, and you can never tell.
You're also you dedicate some time, whatever time you have left, to education. You're an education, a jazz education advocate. Yeah. How do you take that on the road?
I really love. I view jazz education. I grew up. My father's best friend's Clark Terry, and I saw Clark. My whole life do clinics and big band rehearsals, master classes, and perpetuating the art of the jazz language. That's what he used to say. And I felt that it was very important work, not only to inspire young jazz musicians, which I think are going to be inspired, but to inspire jazz listeners.
Yes.
To bring more people into the art form, to make it more accessible. And so that's what I like to think I'm doing. Just this past week for International Jazz Day, I gave a talk at the Two River Theater in Red Bank, where I played videos of my favorite jazz musicians and just talked about jazz in a very non-technical way, but more like a cultural way, or what I liked about it. And I think those kind of events are so good to introduce people to the music and to show them it's not like a closed circuit, or that they can't be a part of it because they don't know a lot about jazz history, or maybe they they don't like. There was one gentleman in the audience who didn't care for one of the pianists I played, and I said, well, that's okay. You don't have to. You can still like Count Basie, and you can still be a jazz fan. I think it's okay.
Absolutely.
So I just want to bring people to the music.
What are you listening to when you're not listening as a musician? Like, you're lounging around the house, or you're on the road, you're not working.
I listen to jazz all the time. All the time. Today I was listening to Freddie Hubbard. It's one of my favorite trumpet players. At home, I kind of like to listen to classical radio. I love radio, terrestrial radio.
Oh, fun.
And so in New York, I listen to WQXR, WNYC, WKCR, because I kind of like to know what's being played on the airwaves. And I think it's fun, the idea that I'm listening to something that someone else, like in the other apartment, is listening to too. So sort of the shared experience of radio. Yes. So I do listen to a lot of classical radio.
I'm glad you do. What's a Champian Fulton show like?
So a Champion Fulton show, I hope, is fun. I want people to come and have a good time and just to feel, as Art Blakey said, just to have the dust of everyday life washed away and to leave feeling better. I sing a lot. I play piano a lot. We have my father on a flugelhorn tonight. It's a lot of American songbook songs, but some maybe more obscure or rare. We play a lot of jazz tunes by Cedar Walton, by Oscar Peterson, my own songs, and I think it's a lot of, this is kind of technical I guess, but a lot of variety of tempos and feelings to engage a lot of different kinds of listeners.
Great. And the last question, if you can say in one word, who is Champian Fulton?
That's tough. One word for me is hard.
Let's put as many as you want.
No, I'm gonna try. I want to distill. It's gonna sound silly, but I'm gonna go with just with happy.
Wonderful.
Not in a trite way, but contented, and I want people to feel that way when they come to the shows.
I think they can totally expect that.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for being on the Antidote today. It's been a real pleasure, and I can't wait for the show.
Thank you. Thanks.
Great.